Namaskar. This is Anusha Khurana, your host for today. And with me, I have a very erudite guest today, Mr. Justice Arun Kumar Mishra. Welcome, sir. He is a former Supreme Court judge and the current chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission. He took over office on 2nd June 2021. He is the 8th chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission. Born on 3rd September 1955, he did his BSc, MA, LLB, and joined the bar in 1978. He has a distinction of being the youngest chairperson of the Bar Council of India, and he took over in 1998. He has had many distinctions to his credit, and during his tenure, one of the main things which took place was that the course of law which we do today as a 5-year course was implemented, rather than the 3-year course which was there earlier. Many substandard colleges were also removed from the arena. At the same time, he had other notable achievements to his credit, one of which was that medical aid was enhanced for lawyers. He has been implementing and has been ruling into very important arenas. He has been a judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, thereafter a Chief Justice of the Rajasthan High Court and the Kolkata High Court. He took over as the Supreme Court judge in 2014 and demitted office in 2020. He has delivered 236 judgments. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. I'd like to begin the interview on a very informal note, or rather a very personal note. I'd like to ask you, is there any anecdote or any incident during your tenure as the National Human Rights Commission chairperson which has impacted you deeply?
While I was inspecting mental hospital at Gwalior,
Okay.
I came across a doctor, house in the mental hospital, young girl. As a young girl, she was placed in the mental hospital, and she has remained there for last 17 years.
Oh, phenomenal.
Even after recovering from the mental illness, because she has no other place to go.
Okay.
I was moved so much by that event that a person who has recovered and is a doctor,
Right.
not able to go back to the community and is housed in the mental hospital.
Right.
And then after inquiry, we came to know that there were at least 200 such persons who have recovered,
Okay.
but still, as family is not accepting them back,
Okay.
they remained in the mental
They're languishing there.
hospitals as indoor patient.
Right.
And same is the scenario in several other hospitals in India. That has shaken my confidence
I can understand.
at how a recovered person
Right.
can be kept in a hospital, and how much cruel is the society and the family. They are not accepting back a person who has recovered from the illness. The stigma attached to the mental health must go
Right.
from the minds of the common person and the society.
Right.
Earlier there was concept of asylums, now they are called hospitals, but still mindset has not changed. And we have issued advisory regarding that and have taken the matter on judicial side of the commission also, and have issued various directions
Oh, that's very commendable.
for improvement of the mental hospitals based thereupon. And
So-
second event, if I am permitted to mention, is about the death of the workers in sewers and septic
Oh,
tanks.
yes.
That has moved me.
Manual scavenging.
Manual scavenging,
Right.
we will call it, though manual scavenging in real sense has come to an
Yes.
end. But still it will amount to that, and as defined under 2013 Act.
Right.
So they are dying cleaning human excreta in sewers
Yes.
and septic tanks.
Yes.
We issued an advisory in this regard on 24th September 2021 that there should be mechanical cleaning as is being done in Hyderabad
Right.
of these sewers and septic tanks, so that no person is required to enter into these
Absolutely.
and die there due to poisonous gases. We have issued an advisory. There is whenever there is any news regarding this, I take sumoto cognizance of the same. No necessity of any cognizance. I have signed one order.
Okay.
We take sumoto cognizance. No complaint is necessary to be filed. And our stand has been fortified by the Supreme Court judgment delivered by Justice Ravin Bhatt in Balram Singh's matter only last month before his retirement.
Okay.
He has also ordered, as per our advisory of 24th September, that there should be mechanical cleaning of the septic tanks and road map should be prepared. And we are hearing all the state governments. Now we are asking them to submit road map to us.
Thank you,
and
sir.
compensation has also been enhanced rightly now from 10 to 30 lakh.
So, sir, taking off from this, the Human Rights Day is there on 10th of December. How would we define human rights in the context of the Indian setup? Was there a definition we have for it, or how do we understand human rights?
Indian context is not different from the world context. I'll say that our culture, our cultural ethos and our philosophy contains the welfare of the entire world, and world is one family. Globalization appears to be a new concept arising out of WTO. No,
right.
It's not a new concept for our culture. It was there 5,000 years back in our culture. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was there. And then India used to be the holding the world universities were there. 10,000 students used to read at this one time in Nalanda and other universities in our India. So we were India was a center of education, and from entire world, you see, people used to come to take education from us.
True.
And then right to move freely throughout the world, and Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina is our cultural ethos based thereupon. If we just count Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, interpret it as constitutional provisions are being interpreted, I am confident that every human right which is mentioned in the UDHR, United Declaration of Human Rights, you will find that everything emanates out of that. Equality, development of all, marginalized class, no one should be left behind, sustainable development goals, principles find place in our Arthaved, you see. Minerals should be protected, intergenerational equity should be ensured.
So it's
all
a vast
these
spectrum.
Our principles are so much, and then Yato Dharmasato Jaya. This is embedded in Supreme Court also, you see. I used to read it every day while going through the Chief Justice's court. It is embedded Yato Dharmasata Jaya. So jahan we have to work on the basis of our religious principles, which are moral principles. This justice system was depending upon the our moral principles, and then morality and the law should go together. Society can thrive only on the basis of morality, and morality and law have to align with each other, and we cannot permit anarchy to develop. You see, that is the very purpose of the Declaration of Human Rights. You see, there should be behavior as per moral settled by the society, law which is governing the society, and helping each other is ethical concept built up by the society, culture, and our philosophy is that, you see, to help each other.
Right, sir. So, if I were to understand the National Human Rights Commission from a layman's perspective, for many in our audience maybe, what is the NHRC and what is its mandate in that connection?
Mandate is very wide. India pioneered in establishment of Human Rights Commission in 1993. It was the first country to enact the legislation as per the Paris Principles. And then very powerful commission Indian Parliament has given. See, there are commissions in every state.
Right.
And Chief Justice of India or a Supreme Court judge to be chairperson of National Human Rights Commission.
Right.
And similar is the situation in the State Human Rights Commission. Chief Justice of the High Court or a judge can be chairperson of the commission. Then there is Supreme Court judge in the National Commission, and then another Chief Justice, another post for Chief Justice, and then independent investigation wing. Then there is a, you see, one woman member also is there in commission. You see, total 6 members are there. Investigation wing there. Our complaint management system is headed by a very senior judicial officer, senior district judge level officer, independent wing, and then investigation wing independent. And we have administrative wing and research wing also. So we are working in tandem, and our mandate is to protect all kind of human rights. You see, every complaint of violation of human right, we can entertain. Our jurisdiction is so much wide under Section 12, very wide, and Supreme Court has said every kind of you see complaint can be entertained by the Human Rights Commission. Mandate is very wide.
So, sir, the mandate, does that mean that there is no section which gives the definition of human rights as such?
Human rights, you see, whatever, you see, man is born equal. Fine. And then there are certain rights which are inherent of right of to live with dignity, right to food, right to shelter, and right to develop is also a fundamental right. Right to life is fundamental right. You see, basic human rights, and there are various other freedoms which are there, part of the, you see, fundamental rights. And then there, what is the basis of our, you see, freedoms right from beginning is now in Constitution, that is in the UDHR also. You will find same principles everywhere. They are not different from each other. And then our Constitution has differentiated between social and political rights as fundamental rights. And directive principle of state policy, economic, social, as well as that cultural rights. You see, they are there. So we have that flexibility with respect to those rights, directive principles also. But we deal with every policy also framed under directive principles with state policy. We deal with the statutory provisions which are based upon the directive principle, because directive principle is the source for them, you see, for those legislations.
They're a fulcrum actually for the human rights. So, sir, as having been a judge of the Supreme Court, how has that been, it could not have been an extension. How has that contributed in your role as the NHRC chairperson?
Actually, while remaining as a judge, we gain the experience of the entire functioning of the system. That is one. Executive problems faced by the society. How a criminal is developed. What kind of treatment he requires. What are the rights of a, you see, an accused under trial prisoner. What are the rights of a prisoner and a person in judicial custody? It is human. Even if he is jailed for an offense, he doesn't cease to be human. His rights are still there, you see. Only liberty is curtailed to move out. So there are various rights which have to be protected. So having been aware of the where the society is lagging behind, which is the class which has not been benefited by the reservation so far, and the beneficial schemes framed by the government, benefit has not trickled down to those class. So these we come with the knowledge of all these things, you see, and then we deal with as a Supreme Court, there's very important constitutional matters also. In that, you see how the distributive justice can be ensured as contemplated in our directive principle, Article 38 and 39 particularly. They are the backbone of, you see, distributive justice, and material resources of community should not be concentrated in few hands. There should not be any
Yes.
concentration of wealth
Wealth.
also.
Right.
So that's the way we look at it, and that experience helps us in discharging our function and quick decision making power, and then how to help the society. And one thing comes that you see, it is our constitution is for the people, by the people, and for the people, and government is of the people.
Yes.
If we have
Democracy.
that nick in ourselves, we that have knowledge in ourselves that it is only the human, they are everywhere, and humans are serving each other, they are helping each other, and India has India has very high potential, very highly developed brains, you see.
So
And
yours is- So the Supreme Court experience actually becomes the backbone.
Backbone for enforcing human rights more effectively and more deeply in far-flung areas too.
But how is it different now then? This is the
It's
extension.
not different. It is extension, and then we feel that as a Supreme Court judge, you are confined to the litigation which is
Yes.
before you.
Yes.
Now here you can think over
Broader spectrum.
and try to improve the situation on the ground level.
Yes.
That as you see, it came to my mind that we should do something for manual scavenging this
Yes.
septic tank,
Yes.
and then we issued advisory. This we could not have done in Supreme Court if until unless litigation comes before us.
All right.
So
we're
that is
more
the
proactive, you
and
would
then
say.
business and human rights, truck drivers' welfare.
Okay.
We have issued an advisory that how
Okay.
their welfare should be. Persons suffering with the Hansen's disease, there the 93 discriminatory laws were there in India. We
Okay.
just noted them down and issued an advisory that these provisions should be amended. There should not be any discrimination,
Okay.
because once treatment is given, it is not a disease which should be people should be contagious. It is not a contagious disease anymore.
Right.
Then in that case, why they should be discriminated with?
So it's a more
They are
proactive
to
role.
be. They should they used to be removed. There are certain provisions existing that they will be removed once they contact this kind of Hansen disease, which used to be called leprosy earlier. You see.
Right.
So
So it's a more proactive role.
more
It's-
proactive measures we can take, and then
It's
there are
wider.
so
I
many
feel.
things which we can do, which we can think in a particular manner that society. This is the area in which gray area in which we should work. We are
Right, sir.
working like that.
Just like you championed a lot of initiatives as in your Supreme Court tenure, etc. What are the critical initiatives you have taken as the NHRC chairperson? It's early innings yet.
Actually, if we start counting it, I'll say that I am firstly developing upon the legacy of my predecessors,
Right.
and then secondly, I have tried to develop upon that. As I already told, manual scavenging, that there should be mechanical cleaning. That is one thing. Bonded laborers, we have issued an advisory for their identification, release, and rehabilitation. And for enhancement of the compensation, government has accepted and acted upon it, and has increased pre-trial compensation to ₹20,000.
Okay.
That is wholesome for their immediate rehabilitation. This
Right.
much amount is required.
Right.
And then persons with suffering with the leprosy, there should be no discrimination. Environmental issues we have taken up very seriously, and we have issued an advisory with regard to minimizing the vehicular pollution, and then making local authorities more capacity building of the local authorities, as they have to ensure that there should not be any pollution, and there should be hygiene and cleanliness should be maintained, and they should be able to discharge their civil responsibilities which are statutorily enjoined under the municipal laws upon them, or even at panchayat level, you see.
Right.
And then we have issued another advisory with respect to prevention of ocular trauma.
Visual.
Children are suffering with the ocular trauma by way of, you see, a small thing is there. People eat betel and tobacco in the house,
Okay.
and there is a lime in that, you see.
Okay.
And then that lime is so much dangerous, if one touches it enters or was just touch the eye with that, you see, the permanent damage will be caused to that. And then mental hospitals We have seen and got inspected all 57 mental hospitals after we personally visited the Ranchi and Agra and at Gwalior, 4 hospitals. We have issued an advisory that they should be revamped.
Okay.
Modern facilities should be provided. There should be proper look after of these persons. Halfway home should be built. Their Mental Health Act 2017, which has not been implemented so far, welfare provisions. Several states have not even constituted the boards which are necessary to be constituted under Section 73, authorities under Section 45. Rules and regulations are to be made as per mandate of Section 122, 123. There are still some states are lagging behind in framing them. See, so we have issued the directions in that advisory and taken up this matter. And then there is another provision that we should reach the international standard with respect to mental health by 2027 as provided in Section 31(1) of the Mental Health Act 2017. The best act anywhere in the world, you see, we have in legislation with us. But question is of its implementation.
That is exactly what I was going to come to. What is the work in progress?
I feel that now with the we called a national conference also, so all stakeholders we heard and they are serious about it. There's paucity of doctors, there's paucity of the staff in the hospital. 30 to 40% staff is working in the hospital. Doctors are not available after issuance of advertisement because they are not there. So we have suggested National Medical Council to increase the number of seats because we have to meet the international requirements. You see, up to 2027 as statutorily mandated under the Act. And halfway homes have not come up, in which mandated by Section 19, so that recovered persons who are not being accepted back can be housed in that, and then courts have to play a role in this, and then legal aid should be provided to these persons who are not being accepted by their families. There has to be community rehabilitation of these persons, which is mandated under the Act. These things must happen as per statutory mandate under Section 100, 101 and 102. Police has also has a role in this. We have directed Maharashtra Government Director General and Chief Secretary to send back all such patients who have recovered to their families, communities, healing, and they should ideally go back to the family. Why they should not be accepted by the family?
Right, as you mentioned in the first incident.
We have issued one advisory with respect to the taking care of cyber crimes, as well as child sexual abuse material which is there on internet. There's live streaming of the offences being committed against the child, and then live streaming is taking place. We have issued an advisory recently on 27th of October 2023, which is unique. And then we have asked that POSCO Act should be amended, as well as IT Act should be amended, Section 68.
Information technology.
Punishment should be enhanced. And child sexual abuse material does not constitute pornographic content. This definition. So Section 2 requires amendment, and then intermediaries on being noticed by the government that this content is there. Should remove this within 6 hours from the online.
Very heartening to know that, sir.
And another thing which we have done is that suicide by the prisoners and for transgenders persons benefit, we have issued an advisory that transgender child should be treated at par with the girl child, and they should be permitted to inherit the agricultural land, which is they are not inheriting in several states. Beside the other welfare measures.
So, sir, you've given us a very wholesome insight into what the NHRC is, what it is doing, and what it will continue to do. You've talked of work in progress, you've talked of the achievements. So it's been a very heartening and a very insightful knowledge of something we knew peripherally. I would like to say a very big thank you to you for having been here with us, for having enlightened us, for having shared very personal incidents, and for making us understand that human rights is something not only philosophical, but something which will go a long way in bringing India onto the world map. Thank you so much, sir. And with that, we come to the end of the very learned and very insightful contact we had with Honorable Sir. We hope it brought you closer to the human rights, and we hope 10th of December will ring a bell for you. Thank you so much.